Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today we are going to make a soap with carrots in mind. I know that sounds funny. The fragrance that we're using today is Carrot Cake from Nature's Garden. Smells good. On my notes here, I read the reviews. I have not soaped with this, but the reviews said it didn't cause acceleration, separation, or ricing. This does have some vanillin, and it says it discolors to a dark tan. So we're going to work with that. And I was so happy with how my pumpkin soaps came out with the baby food, pumpkin, apple puree. I'll leave a link for that video down below. I was just delighted with the lather. And so in this soap today, we are going to put, I got my baby food again, sweet carrots. And the ingredients are carrots and water. So I will be using this as a portion of the water volume in this soap, and I'll talk about that as we get into it. I love how fruit and vegetable purees lather in soap. I'm a big fan. So Carrot Cake, to me that sounds kind of foodie and warm. I think it's fall inspired. I haven't pulled my colorants, and I don't even have a design in mind. I just had the baby food, I had the fragrance, and I thought that's what we're doing. So I'm going to get everything pulled together, and by the time I come back, I will have an idea formulated in my mind for what we're going to do today. So let's come back and make some carrot cake soap. All right, we are back to make our lye solution, and I'm going to tell you how I will make room for my little baby carrots in here. So for this recipe size, requires 5.2 ounces of lye, sodium hydroxide, and I'm doing a 28% water volume, and so I need 11 ounces total of water. So I'm going to do 7 ounces of water in here to mix with my lye, and then the 4 ounces of the rest of the liquid will be my carrot puree in the oils. I'll do the puree in oils method, kind of like the milk and oil method. That's just how I like to do it. So it makes it easier for blending and all of that. And I will not be putting sugar in my lye solution today because this has enough natural sugars. We'll get a beautiful lather without that. So I'll skip that step. But to get to our full 11 ounces of liquid, I need 7 ounces of water in here. And when you are factoring that in, if you're going to do an addition like a milk and oil or a puree and oil, just take whatever lye volume you have, whatever that turns out to be, and make sure you're using at least that much water. So you have at least a 50-50 split. I always edge a little more. So it was 5.2 ounces of lye that we're going to add. I would have added 6 ounces minimum of water, but we're adding 7. I hope that makes sense. Let me get this measured out. This recipe will be in grams and percentages down below. Today I'm working in ounces, but all the information is down below. The links to what I use, the recipe, it's all down there in the little highlighted more word. If you click on that, it should show you everything. I hope it does. All right, 7 ounces. All right, we are back to add our sodium hydroxide, but first I am going to add my silk fibers because I love to add these. They just add a silky feel to the lather, literally silky, and it adds a sheen to the wet bar of soap. I just love it. I have it. I'm going to use it. You can totally leave this out, but I have my scale tiered out here to 0 for the lye, and just a little pinch like this weighs nothing. I'm going to put it in there and it doesn't register at all. So the silk is in there just because I love it. And now I've got my scale tiered out. We're going to add 5.2 ounces of lye, or 148 grams if you're doing grams. All right, and now I'm just going to stir this, stand back. You don't want to breathe the fumes. And I'm going to keep stirring until I don't feel any more grit in the bottom here and it's all fully dissolved. And then I'll go put this in an ice bath, let it cool. You can make this a few hours before you make soap and let it cool naturally. You can make it the night before. I suggest throwing a cover over it if you're making it the night before, but it's one of those things. This gets very hot, so just be careful, be respectful. All right, I am going to go let this cool off. I will be adding a teaspoon of sodium lactate in here also, which helps with unmolding the next day. Again, you don't need it. I love the additives. I love all the extras. All right, I am going to measure my oils with you all. I'll just go real quick through that. But first, let's talk about the game plan. I pulled out some colors today. So again, this fragrance, I have it off to the side. And let me tell you, this smells like carrot cake with cream cheese frosting. So good, so good. But you can even see it's a little bit amber colored, yellowish. It's gonna discolor. So I'm not adding any titanium dioxide. I'm gonna let it do its thing. And I have these colors that I'm hoping will just darken up a bit. So I chose a very light orange for my carrot color. It's called Siesta Sunset Orange. This is from Wholesale Supplies Plus. And then from Bee Scented, I have olive green. So just a little bit of a green and orange swirl in the body of this. The bulk of it I will leave uncolored and let it darken up on its own. And then I'd like to do a hanger swirl. And this is just my little gear tie. I love these because you can bend them to fit any mold that you have. Love them. The colors, and I'm going to save some off to do frosting. I am going to attempt to pipe carrots. I have a Wilton 1A open hole. And I watched some cake decorating videos on YouTube. I've never done this before. We're doing this for the first time together, but I'm going to attempt to make a little carrot. And then I have an Atika 349 leaf tip. If you can see, just a very plain leaf tip that I'm gonna do little greens at the top. So I'll save off just a touch of the green to do tops. Hopefully I'll save enough orange to make all my oranges. So I am gonna be guessing at how much color to save off. So wish me luck on all of these things. It's kind of fun. I love an adventure. We're going on one today. So all of that is off to the side, ready to go. Oh, while I'm talking about it, for my additives, I pulled this out. I had the carrots sitting off to the side. We're gonna put buttermilk powder in here because it's foodie. It makes a luscious, creamy lather. So I thought this combined with the carrot puree, this lather is gonna be decadent. And you know, the whole foodie theme. Let's get to the soap measurements. All right. The first oil that I'm using in here is lard. I have rendered bacon grease. If you watched a previous video of mine, I got a huge bucket. I'm just cranking my way through it. So that's why a lot of my recipes I'm doing lately are this same recipe because I'm trying to work my way through this big bucket of lard. If you don't have lard or you don't want to use lard because of religious purposes or you like vegan-based soaps and you want to tweak this recipe, totally cool, just run it through Soap Calculator. It will affect your lye ratio, or it could affect your lye ratio. So if you want to change any of the oils I'm using today, you are creating a new recipe and you got to go run the numbers. So there's a word on that. Let me go get my lard. I need 12.6 ounces or 357 grams of lard. All right, my next oil is 9 ounces or 255 grams of coconut oil. All right, my next oil is palm kernel oil flakes. I got these from Wholesale Supplies Plus quite a while ago. They make a nice hard bar of soap. They help, they're a lathering oil. It's good. I have this little bit left that I'm trying to work my way through, so I'm adding it in here, and I need 3.6 ounces or 102 grams of palm kernel oil flakes. All right, my last hard butter is cocoa butter, and I need 1.8 ounces or 51 grams of cocoa butter. And I have a little solid block here left from my Natural Bulk Supplies, which I love. They are a great soap distributor. And then I'm gonna top it off with my wafers. Cocoa butter is a really hard butter, and so these wafers make it easy to measure, but I have this, I'm gonna use it. So 1.8 ounces. All right, and now I'm gonna go give these a little melt and then we'll come back for the liquid oils. All right, all of the hard oils and butters are melted and now I have to add the liquid, and so I need 1.8 ounces or 51 grams of castor oil. This is wonderful in soap. It helps support the lather. It's a humectant. It's just a good soaping oil at a rate of 5% or less is what I like to add castor oil. If you put way too much castor oil in soap, I find it to be tacky feeling, but a little bit is awesome. All right, and the last oil, I'm gonna move this out of the way, is my high oleic sunflower oil. And we had a sunflower oil discussion on a video quite a while ago, my calamine and charcoal video, I think it was, where I used just regular sunflower oil, which can be prone to DOS, dreaded orange spots. The high oleic sunflower oil is much less prone to that, and I have been loving it. This has been my replacement for olive oil, which has gone crazy in price. Again, it's not a one-for-one sub, so when I swapped my olive oil out for my sunflower oil, I did have to run the numbers through SoapCalc. So I follow my own advice there. Tear the scale. We need 7.2 ounces or 204 grams of high oleic sunflower oil. All right, we're back for one of my favorite parts of soaping, and that's the soap additives. I just love this. I don't know why, but I do. So I'm going to go ahead and add my fragrance in here because I'm coloring, or I don't mind if everything discolors today. That's what I'm trying to say. And I am using this fragrance at 5%. That was the recommended usage rate from Nature's Garden's own website. So if you get your fragrances from a good supplier, they will tell you the percentages that you should be using for each product. Fragrances in. Here come the carrots. Love. And of course the carrots are going to darken this up naturally also. I'm really hoping the colors will come through the discoloration and the carrot puree. Really hoping for that. Get that all in there, and then together these plus our lye solution creates the full water volume that we wanted. And by the way, if you are making any products for yourself, don't throw those little glass baby food jars away. They make great little lotion containers or something. If you're just making goodies for friends and family, recycle those bad boys. So now in here, I'm going to be adding about a generous teaspoon of my colloidal oats, because again, this is a foodie soap, so I don't mind the oats going in there. And my kaolin clay, because I love how clay feels in the lather of a soap. I'm a big fan of clay in soap. And buttermilk powder. I will add about a generous teaspoon of buttermilk powder in here. And the lactic acids in milks just, oh golly, it's creamy. That's what I can say. It adds to just a creaminess to the lather. Love it. And I have found that to be true with any milk. Buttermilk, goat milk, cow milk. I've used heavy cream powder. All of the milks that have lactic acid create just a lovely soap. So I have not played around with soy milks, or I have done coconut milk. Absolutely loved it. But I haven't done a soy milk. I haven't done a rice milk. I did an oat milk one a long time ago. But anyway, that's enough about milks. Let me get this blended up, and then we will get on to our next step. We are back with our lye solution, and I did add the sodium lactate in here, and I added at a rate of 1 teaspoon per pound of oils. So I just added a nice heaping teaspoon in here because this is a little more than a pound of oils. But anyway, that's what's going on in the lye bucket here. And look at that beautiful color. That will not stay. If I just poured this, made a plain lye solution, made this and put it in the mold, it would just turn a beautiful sort of caramely beige, and then with the fragrance. So I wish that little orange color would stay, but it won't. I love it though. And it smells so good in here, y'all. It smells like I'm in a bakery shop, for real. So let's add this in here. I'm really praying I pull off the right amount of soap to make my little carrots on top. Okay, you guys, let's do it. you guys, it is the next day. And these little carrots were so fun to make. And I just want to say, this not only went through gel phase, it got very, very hot and started to crack. I actually threw this mold in the refrigerator to not let it, I didn't want it to overheat. But I also wanted to, this is the second time recently that gel phase has kind of done me dirty. I think the colors are okay. And I think my carrots are hilarious looking. I don't know why they crack me up though. But look at the little flowers that did not go through gel phase. That is a prettier color, I think, for sure. So I'm starting to learn that these fragrances that beige up, maybe I don't want to gel them. Word to the wise, because I think this is a much more appealing color. But these just are cracking me up. Anyway, let's get in here and see how the swirls came out and all of that. Back with my single bar cutter because I want to make sure that I get a carat on each bar of soap, and I did have my loaf marked for my multi-bar cutter, but I figured we'd bring out my single bar just so I didn't have to sweat it cutting these. But I do think that this darker color is more the color of carrot cake. When I get carrot cake, it has that pretty dark brown color to it, so maybe it's appropriate for this soap that it got darker. But yeah, gel phase kind of didn't work out as great as I thought. Look at those swirls. How pretty is that? And it's very orange on the inside. So I will wait on these for photography to see what these end up coloring up to be. But these carrots, okay, can we talk about the carrots for a minute? So before I came down to my studio, I looked on YouTube for cake decorating carrots, and saw a couple of people doing the carrots, you know, with frosting. And I have never decorated a cake before, but I think that soap medium is similar to frosting, and they were fun to pipe. I told my husband when I first did them, I thought they kind of looked like pointy hot dogs. But when it's all said and done, I do think I see a carrot there for sure. So I want to encourage anybody out there who has never tried soap frosting before or has a design that they're intimidated by, give it a try. You've got nothing to lose. I'm glad I attempted these little carrots. I think they came out really cute. And I'm glad that I did it with you, brought you guys along with me for my first attempt. If it had been a fail, it would have been fun and funny and all that. But I think that's a carrot, right? No doubt about it. So don't be afraid to try new things and stretch yourself. Keeps things exciting. I love that. So I did obviously pull off a little too much frosting for my carrots, which is why I got 3 soap flowers. This one's a half of a flower, but this was all extra frosting, so I overestimated how much I would need, but none of it goes to waste, so I don't mind having soap flowers at all. And these bars are a little short, so I will be stamping across the front because they're not quite tall enough for my stamp. And I do get asked quite often, what size is your stamp? My stamp is about, well, the logo is a different size than the actual stamp. It's about 1 inch by 3 inches, the wood part. But I would come back and say, what is your logo? It really depends on what size your logo is. So when you're picking out if you want to get a soap stamp, I do have a link down below for the guy that I used. I really like the stamp. I've been using it for years and years. It's the original one I bought and I love it. But and he can do any custom logo for you, which is great. But my soap stamp might not be your size soap stamp. So just keep that in mind. If you have a round logo or a square logo, or any of those would be great on a soap. You would just have to adjust where you stamp your soap at. And again, with the extras that I love so much, you don't have to stamp your soap, I just think it's a cute little extra on there, but soaps are awesome without a stamp. So don't feel any pressure to get a logo stamp for your bars. Well, this was fun for me to make today, and I'm glad I stretched myself. I was a little nervous, and I'm glad I did it. I hope you enjoyed watching me make my little pointy hot dogs, aka carrots. I started them back a little farther, high in sight. I would have started them a little farther down so I had more room for greens on top, all of that. You never know until you try. So I am glad I gave it a try, and these smell awesome. It's all good, right? It's all good. Well, I appreciate you joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And let us know down below, what are you going to stretch yourself at? Do you have a piping aspiration to do, or inspiration? Do you have a recipe, a new recipe you want to try? I'm going to try not gelling my soap. Next time I use a fragrance that's beiges up, I'm going to try not gelling it and give it a try. So let me know what you are stretching yourself in the soaping world. I would love to hear that. And these are just a little bit soft still, so I will let these sit for a good couple of hours before I come in and do my beveling and stamping. All right, you guys, I am getting ready to bevel and stamp these. This is 3 days later. Check out that color morph. I have brown carrots and the little soap flowers that did not go through gel phase are browning up quite a bit. So now I feel bad for throwing shade on gel phase. I think these will be a hair lighter when it's all said and done, you can see. But this is the orange portion, so we're comparing it to the carrot on top. I think these are going to brown up a little bit more, and so you can see now that when I first cut these, you couldn't see the orange swirl in here. Now you can. I think the swirls are lovely, and this does look like a carrot cake color to me, and it smells so good. And I have seen purple carrots and stuff, so I'm going to be okay with the carrot color too. But let me get these beveled and stamped, and then we're going to come back and do a lather test, because I want you to see how luscious this buttermilk and carrot lather is going to be. We're back with a bowl of warm water and my little end slice here, and I'm so glad my stamp fit just barely on the front of these, so that is good to note for the future if I ever make short bars again. So there it is. You can barely see the swirls, and let's get to lathering this. I already know it's going to be fabulous. I've been loving this recipe that I shared down in the description box, which is the little highlighted more sign. If you haven't found that yet, just click around, you'll find it. But I've been using this recipe recently and loving it. So even without the fruit, but look at this lather. Oh my goodness. This feels so luxurious. The buttermilk powder, the carrots, it's just so good. All right, let me go ahead and, thick, abundant. It's got a little bit of a tint to it, and that's partly because of the soap discoloring. I don't know if the carrots in there are giving it that tint, so it's got like a beige color lather. That's not bad. I don't mind that at all. Oh my, these are delightful. So I do hope you go down, find that recipe, and give it a try. I would love to hear if you have tried this recipe and how you like it. It does have the palm kernel flakes in there, which I'm just trying to work my way through. When I finish using those up, I'm going to go ahead and formulate this without those. But I've got them. I don't like to waste, and so I'm going to use them up. So if you do give the recipe a try, let us all know. And if you've added fruit purees, or if you've challenged yourself with a soap design or soap piping, I would love to hear about that. I really would. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.